very disturbing some news out of JP Morgan. And if you've been watching what the big smart money has been doing, they're protecting themselves right now against higher for longer. And we have this tweet here from Carl. You recognize him from one of the financial, what's he on Fox Business, I think. JP Morgan, we are not saying that the situation now is the same as in 2008, but signs of stress are beginning to appear. Lags are longer this time, which has resulted in complacency and broad acceptance of the soft landing, or even no landing thesis. Oh boy, that's not good. That's not good. We are not saying now that the situation is the same as 2008, but we are saying is it could get as bad as 2008. Yeah. So if you had a lot of money, you're moving your risk in a way that protects you against higher interest rates. Because if you're listening to the general consensus out there, you see that a lot that's in the stock market and a lot of just in public media, in the media, that we're going to have a soft landing. The smart people out there, the people with the money, have come to the conclusion we're not going to have a soft landing, that we might be headed towards a hard landing, or maybe even worse, the worst of worst, which would be an economic slowdown, but still with inflation. That's called stagflation. That is behind door number 4, and that is the worst of all outcomes here. Yeah, so there is a follow-up to this tweet, tweet number 2 here from Carl. In the past 6 months, interest rates and QT, that's tightening of the money supply, headwinds are now stronger. Valuations are also worse. Excess savings, that means in the stock market, excess savings are now gone, particularly from the lower end consumer. That means basically any of that money that you were able to save up from the lower end consumer, from the stimmy checks, that's gone, right? That is gone. And that consumer is starting to see car loan rates spike, obviously home rates spike, and all of this might result in a economic slowdown, which is actually the plan by the Fed, right? Some of the wealth effect from high stock valuations could equally quickly, let's hit show more, equally quickly disappear. I knew that word was coming, right? This is not a good sign. This is not a good sign. I've been through any number of these downturns before, as you may have as well. I can think of the first one that I was an adult for happened in the late 80s, and you could see that coming. Even then, I remember when Dukakis was running for president in 1988, and the economy had already started to slow in the spring of 88 a little bit, and I had just graduated from I was in college, and the economy started to slow. And I then came back from college. I remember one time, and I had to get a job, and I went down to my local town, and I just knocked doors because I'm good at that. And oh boy, the same places that were hiring like a year ago, I thought I was just going to walk into town and just get a job, at the local restaurant or wherever. I just needed kind of a short-term 4-month, Mick job. And the same places that were hiring, they weren't hiring anymore. They were like, sorry, we know you. You're we know you. You grew up here, but yeah, we don't have anything for you. Yeah, that not a good look. The .com bubble I was not really part of that, and for whatever reason, I did fairly well in the .com bubble situation. Was not really impacted by that dip in the economy that much because I was not in the .com or internet or anything at that time. I was in sales of a different type. So that was okay. But then, of course, 2008 was just a disaster for me personally. Just absolutely ugly. 2010 being the worst of all worst. Yeah, that was a bumpy ride. But I've never seen a recession forecasted like this before. Like, it is coming. These smart people that are moving billions of dollars, they know it's coming, and they just like flash the warning signal. Like, hello, it's coming. Yeah, that's not a good sign.